Welcome back, everybody. It's Friday, and that means another episode of Tech Talk Live. Today, I'm joined by probably two of the most amazing gentlemen I've ever had the honor of meeting. You know, I thought I knew cool people before, but after I had a chance to talk with these guys for just 2 minutes, I knew that my expectations of life had changed, and now everything has been set to a higher level. And these gentlemen are Lee and Rob from Next Level Acoustics. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
We're going to take humanity to the next level, apparently.
Absolutely, we are. Thank you, Giles.
You've changed my outlook, but to be completely honest, we will talk about something that did change my outlook on life, or at least about home theater in a little bit, and that's the some special reference cinema speakers that I dropped a video about not too long ago. Yeah, good stuff. But today we're going to talk about your brand and your equipment, and like I said, the brand is Next Level Acoustics. But I think to get started, let's build a foundation for everybody. So if you could, each of you, please let people know who you are and why they should care.
Why they should care?
Go ahead,
Well,
Lee.
first off is, it looks like the names are opposite of how we're sitting. I'm Lee. That's Rob. So we are co-owners of Next Level Acoustics. All because of this gentleman walking into my house in 2017 from a random cold call.
Yes, so it's a very interesting story. So I've always known John Solacito for many, many years. He makes extremely fine speakers, and probably about 8 maybe years ago, him and I decided to kind of partner up and start co-branding speaker designs. We formed Next Level. I then moved from New Jersey to Massachusetts, and that's where I met Lee. And the rest is history. It just kind of took off from there. And when Lee and I decided to kind of do this, we had two avenues. It's avenue number one: do we want to be like everybody else, or do we want to be different? Do we want to be unique? Do we want to give the value-added proposition? Do we really want to promote to the CI channel? And we said, you know what? If we're going to do this, let's do something that's more unique, more custom, based on aesthetics, as well as audio performance. And that's where really Next Level came. It's taking your audio, taking your speakers, taking your subwoofers to that next level. And that's really what our company was based on.
Yeah, it was, obviously it was sound first. He came, gave me a cold call because he moved into my neighborhood. Looked up guys who were sort of in the AV industry, which I was. Had a custom install firm. He came to bring me a soundbar, which is kind of our bread and butter before this reference cinema line that is coming out or is out. He came with a soundbar. I was like, listen to this. I was like, okay, come over. Plugged it in. I was like, whoa, this sounds really good. All right, tell me more about it. He wouldn't tell me much. He was playing his cards to his chest, but come to find out that, it's being built close by. We're out of New England, so we're in Boston, and the stuff's being built in Connecticut.
Yep.
He came by, listened to it. I was like, I want to do something with this. He wasn't 100% sold that he wanted to dive in all the way either.
Right.
And,
Okay.
And he said, no, it's like, I'm going to do it. And then you're like, okay, fine, I'll do it too. And here we are, 8 years later?
8 years later, 2 CDs,
couple hundred dealers.
I think we're up to 350, 400 dealers. We've got distribution now in the UK, Canada, China. I mean, it's kind of gone from grassroots to global.
Interestingly enough, just to give kind of a shout out to what we're doing with you, Giles, is a lot of it has started to take root due to doing podcasts and talking to people this way, as opposed to traditional avenues, getting out there because of you, and it's been just amazing to do it like this. We're getting our dealers are getting calls because they saw something on YouTube. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit more about the company specifically and the products, right? So you mentioned sound bars, you mentioned the new cinema line. Now, one thing that I learned pretty quickly is that this stuff isn't always exactly just one way, right? So what I mean by that is this is customizable, right? So people can actually talk to you and say, hey, I need something like this. What can be done? So how does that all work, and what are the options that are possible?
So let me start and leave. Please feel free to kind of jump in. So when you talk about custom, right, there's two different avenues. You think of custom, it's like, okay, custom soundbar, matches the exact width of the TV, right? You're talking about some IR badges that kind of, the grill is notched out and it can go around the bottom of an IR badge. It sticks at the bottom of the TV. Maybe you can change some colors, you can change some grill fabrics, and that's custom A. Then there's custom B, which is that plus what we can really do, which is directly working with the dealers, directly working with designers, working with customers and saying, hey, it's not just based upon what our products are, it's what is your particular need and your particular job. So, for instance, any soundbar can also be configured as an on-wall, an in-wall, a bookshelf, a tower. We can put degree angles into it. We can change the finishes. We can change the driver sets. Wow. We can change the crossovers. We can mix and match. We can do, let's say you need a speaker because you just can't fit it below your TV. We can make it wall mountable and put an 11-degree down angle so that it focuses towards the listening position. We could then do matching sides and rears. Let's say you want on walls, but in the back you want in walls. But let's say you don't want to have a woofer, tweeter, woofer. You want something a little smaller. We can go with just tweeter woofer and then reconfigure based upon the air load. So
now, it sounds super complicated if you think of it that way. So, but you've always said this too. So, but we do have our standard line,
right?
And those are what people order mostly. I want this. We have like six different soundbars. I want this soundbar for this size TV, maybe a color change. That's going to be 90% of what we do. Even with the reference cinema, you saw we sent you ones that were the industrial finish.
Yep.
But somebody could say, I want this colored grill, I want this veneer on it, I want it to be this color. But our standard line is sort of a template. Somebody can jump off of that and change it up to fit the decor. One of our biggest sellers, speaking of the door, is the frame TV, Samsung's frame TV. We have a custom soundbar for that. That thing's hotcakes. We do all 4 of the colors that Samsung does. We can do any color that the client wants. Different grills. Right. Sell it as a stereo, an LCR, or just a center channel. But yeah, so we can customize anything you want. If you have a hole in your wall for a speaker, you don't want to cut the drywall any bigger. If you have limitations, you can give us that size, and we'll make an in-wall that'll work for you. So as easy as you want it to be, or as custom as you want it to be. I think we're one of the there's a few brands out there that tout being custom and customizable. We can do it deeper and more than anybody out there.
Right. But our process is simple, right? We're taking the complexities and just making a super simple process.
That's really cool. And, just to touch on the frame, I think targeting that as kind of a specific niche for one of your products is a really great move, because that television it's a great set and it's also super popular. And the options that are available from Samsung directly are okay. I've got the S801B soundbar for it, which is their little tiny super skinny one, and it's all right. But
I mean, we love Samsung. But
I love Samsung too.
I love to get to the next level. That's exactly right.
Yeah, but I'm thinking back to what I saw at CEDIA, and if folks haven't been to CEDIA and they haven't seen you in your demos and all the equipment, they should really do it. Come to Denver this next year. Are you guys going to be there, by the way? Any ideas?
We have a couple, hopefully, big things planned for us.
Yeah,
that's really cool, and that's actually where I met you guys at for the first time. I remember, Lee, when I met you for the first time.
I remember.
CEDIA, we were filming a little blurb for you. It
didn't work out so good.
Well, it worked out great in the end. It just took a while to get there. It just took a while to get there. But everybody should come and check it out, because the name of your company is exactly what your equipment does. It really takes these environments to the next level, and folks can get into what I call like a baseline or average kind of level system, and it works great. But if you want to move up and really expand the audio capabilities of what you got, particularly frames, look at your stuff. And it's not just limited to what I would call like a media room kind of stuff. You guys are now fully in home theater, hardcore, right? And those are the speakers that I tested, and I'll have a link down below to those. And let me just tell you, these things sounded, I was shocked and dismayed and impressed. I was like, I didn't expect this. I mean, it was good.
Nobody ever is, because we're so used to, right, when you're talking about big home theaters and you're talking about we need to build like a big shelf behind the screen. We got these big massive speakers, and then here these come along in a nice little form factor with a 4x4
Yeah,
compressor.
they're like this
right,
big, you know,
right,
it's
exactly.
and a horn tweeter, right?
Right, and that's the beauty of them is their sensitivity. It's 96 dB. I mean, it's just, I mean, we were literally demoing this thing off of just a receiver.
Yeah,
We didn't even need a power.
We just did a bunch of the CD Tech summits.
Yeah.
We ran it off an AVR. I mean, it's easy to run. Of course, you're going to do better if you're going to do separates and crazy processing. But yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, though, if you love how that sounds, it does trickle down to that frame bar, to all of our smaller stuff. We don't put something out unless it sounds amazing, and it's really attributed to the man who's not here.
That's right,
John Solacito, who designs all our speakers. I mean, he just inherently knows what to do, and he makes the stuff sound incredible. You want our entry level 4.5 soundbar. You don't need to, buy these crazy cinema speakers.
right.
You're going to be blown away in your living room by our soundbar. Just everything we do. A lot of custom subwoofers too, which is something we can, a lot of hidden under the floor subwoofers.
Yeah,
this is it.
Yeah. So I'm pulling this up so people can kind of see what we're talking about, and this is exactly what I tested, and the sound coming off these guys was amazing. And so let's talk about there are two different models of this, right? So you got, this is the little guy, and then you got the big guy, right?
That's right. Right. And we call that the big brother, aka the pro model.
And so
the thought is you can get away in a medium-sized room with the baby brother.
Yeah.
Then you go to the big one. You got a huge room with 3-4 rows of seats, and you're gonna get that output. But they both just sound phenomenal. Yeah. Similar sound signatures. It's sort of a size thing, kind of like a projector. You're gonna get the next model up, not always performance, but for the brightness for the bigger screen. So that's kind of how we look at that.
Right. A lot of these are built for applications. It's not about, bigger, better, best in terms of, right. There are other manufacturers that have like gold tier, platinum tier, silver tiers. And it's like, well, if you spend an extra $300, it'll sound a little better. And then if you spend another $500, it'll sound a little better. Everything we put out sounds great for the application. It's just about size or look. If your room's 400 square feet, you go with this. If it's 800 square feet, you go with this. It's not about, oh, well, I wish I had an extra $400 because then it'd sound better. No, everything is meant to sound amazing. Otherwise, we're just not going to put it out.
Hey, who's that guy?
I didn't know this was up here. That's awesome. Look at that handsome guy.
That's because next level guys are sneaky.
There's a whole lot of handsome
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. And
John, one thing I wanted to point out to anybody watching, though, is that first picture up top shows the form factor. I mean, 6 inches off the wall. You can hang it on the wall and have full theater sound, such a big output. That's 6 inches. How tall is that, Rob? Well, what's the height?
Oh, it's like roughly 24 inches tall by like 12 inches wide by 6 inches deep.
And you can hang it on a wall, and it's going to fill a huge room with dynamic cinematic sound. I mean, the form factor alone is just amazing. And then, comes like all of our speakers. He mentioned before with the soundbar, all of our speakers, including that, can be on wall, in wall, bookshelf, or tower. The whole line.
Right. And, I really appreciate the whole on wall concept. I know that here in the States, there's a lot more in wall that takes place, right? Because, most houses are stick built, right? That kind of thing.
Yep.
And so, there are spaces in between the studs where you can in wall. In my theater, which, was a retrofit room in the basement, there's a humongous sewage pipe that runs right where I would need to in wall at. Right. And it's the most annoying thing ever. And, I even had the thought, okay,
right in the back.
There you go.
Yeah. I've thought about, let's move this sewage pipe, but then I was like, no, that's maybe.
You don't want to do that.
I'm not gonna mess with that. That'd be pretty, But being able to on wall is a really big deal, right? And then as you branch out into more countries outside of the USA where they build a lot more with concrete or brick and that kind of stuff, for the thickness of the wall, you can't in wall at all. So it's really great that you have that product. Another thing that I wanted to reinforce is just the amount of sound that you're getting out of these. So I had a LCR set, and I set that up and listened to it, and I was the system was an Acura system on the front end, and Kaleidoscape for the video and the audio source, and it was outstanding. I mean, my room it's on the smaller side, so it's about 15 by 16 or something, which is also not the most awesome shape for a home theater room. But I lacked nothing. I wanted for nothing, right? It was absolutely outstanding. And having the bigger ones with the extra 8s would be awesome, but in no way did I need them right now. Maybe if my room was 20 by 35 or something, or 30 by 50, maybe I don't know.
Crossing over too makes a difference. It's like,
yeah. I don't even know if I would have needed them. Now I will say they look really freaking awesome, cool in the bigger form factor, right?
Yeah.
I want them in my theater.
Yeah,
let's go. I have the reference in mind. I put them in when we introduced the line. What did we, like a year and a half ago?
A year and a half ago?
It's still like a fresh feeling when I go into my theater now. I'm like, yes, glass breaking is, it's there. It's just, I have fun with these speakers more than I had with any other speakers I've had, and any of our other speakers that I've had in my theater.
So, yeah. Go ahead, Kraus.
Yeah. So I have a question. So, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, you're going to have 7 bed channels, right? You buy 7 of these guys and you slap them in wall or on wall. Like for me, I would probably do 2 on walls on the left, right, and an in wall behind the screen, and then in walls for the surrounds and rear surrounds. Now, if I wanted to do 4 or 6 channels of next level acoustics, Atmos, what do you guys recommend from your portfolio to do that? Because that's the next logical question, right?
So we just spoke to a dealer about this, and it's the IC44A.
All right, let's see if I can find this thing.
What's really cool about it too is a lot of guys are using it if they have to, and they want a higher end in ceiling LCR. They're using those 44As as well, so it's super multi-purpose.
Is that under architectural or in ceiling?
It's under in ceiling.
All right, let's go. Let's find these bad boys. Okay, it's the IC44A, this guy right here?
Yeah, so just click on that.
Right on. This is this is exciting. There you can do the whole, oh, look at this. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Oh, so those are 2 4.5-inch drivers with a 1-inch silk dome tweeter ported with a 20-degree angle. What's great about this speaker is we can do it with an angle, we can do it firing straight down, or we can change the angle.
And you have your choice of grills, right?
And your choice of grills.
Any fabric, if you're doing a theater, the fabric can match your acoustic panels or whatever you have going on, or a paintable metal grill.
That's right. And then if you really want to get creative, we can upgrade the driver set and we can start going bigger. It's, all of these speakers tonally are meant to all go together, right? It's not like we're creating, especially in the architectural series, it's not like we're creating a bunch of different sound profiles. All of these are meant to kind of work in concert with each other. So that's why this is a great speaker.
That's good.
I
like it.
You guys got your stuff together. I'm liking this.
Yeah, we're not doing bad.
All right, what's up?
Got 6, cracked some raw eggs, did a rocky thing. And...
So, Giles, something that I wanted to share exclusively with you.
Ooh, I like that.
And your
and all the other thousands of people that are watching.
And your thousands of people, right? Exactly. Is similar to what we do with the frame bar, where we have one that actually grabs drywall, so it can go a little slimmer. What if I was to tell you that you could fit those reference cinemas in 2x4 construction?
What? No.
Okay, so here's what we do.
They're 6 inches deep, though.
There's
only about 4 inches in a 2x4, including the drywall.
I know. So now I want you to wrap your head around this. What if I told you that we can create this system that it's still 6 inches deep, it insets into the wall, except the collar, right, is a little larger. So the only thing you see on the wall, it looks like a flat 2-inch sound bar sitting on your wall with a 24x12 profile, and the rest is in the wall.
I would say that I like it.
That thick on your wall, it would look like not even 2 inches. It would just look like an acoustic pedal. That thick, except now you have the reference cinema in a 2x4 wall, and all you see is that thin 1.98-inch profile sitting on your wall.
I like it a lot. Is what I think. That's really
So
cool.
those are the type of things that we can do.
Do you know what we didn't mention? Remember how we said every one of our speakers can be bookshelf, in wall, on wall? When you showed that reference cinema, they all have the exact same back box. And that's why we can do that. The in-wall is that speaker you showed, but we have, what we need. Framing. So every speaker has the exact same back box. All of our speakers have their acoustically inert back box. It's just how we build them.
Yeah, we just don't want anything in your wall affecting the sound. So everything is back box.
So if you do one in-wall, one on-wall, they all have the same sound.
It's the same profile. It's the same airload. It's the same signature. It's the same everything.
See, that's awesome, because in my room where I would have to mix the mounting style, and I'm sure there are lots of other people that would be in the same predicament. That's important, right? And not everybody recognizes that. DJ says hi to everybody. If you know Mr.
Hey,
Brightside Home Theater, so he's out there hanging out and watching along with other folks. And Mainline Jesse, he says it's pretty sweet.
We think it's pretty sweet as well, Jesse.
I like that. Can you do compression driver in the Atmos? CJ18 asks.
We can. It just depends upon how much depth you have in your ceiling, but absolutely we can. Atmos is kind of tricky. It's like, yes, we can do it. Absolutely. You would definitely make sure that you've got high ceilings. Otherwise, that's going to be overkill.
You want a little more directionality in the Atmos.
Exactly.
What we found with the compression driver, you're getting phenomenal dispersion.
Yeah.
Almost too much to do it with the compression. It depends on how high your ceiling is.
Exactly.
But yeah, if you personally wanted one, we could create it for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So Mr. CJ18, all you have to do is call and put in your order, and they will make it the way that you need it.
They will make it.
They are the what's the burger joint that makes it the way you want it, and not you're the Burger King.
Well, you can't have it your way.
Giles,
that's a horrible comparison. That's not the one.
You just did this is your second fast food reference since we've talked
that. First it was hot side hot, cold side cold, and now it's
that's right. My goal is to work in 10 different hamburger references into this. See, and I let everybody else recognize that. They're like, "Oh, this was the hamburger episode."
Hey, wait, that's Arby's. We got the meats.
We got. hey. So another question for a different product. When it comes to subwoofers, where's the beef?
We have more beef than people realize. I think that is our best attribute. Best part of our line is our subwoofers.
Why don't you tell them about some of our subwoofers?
It's just starting to take traction. So when you consider the whole customization, we have our high velocity line of subwoofers as a base.
Right. So as you can see, we've got high velocities from 10 inches all the way up to 18 inches. And what's not on here is that we have a 21-inch subwoofer. We have
now you're talking my language.
Right. We've got in-wall subwoofers. We have a dual in-wall subwoofer that was just tested and actually hit 15 hertz clean for 2x4 construction, which is crazy.
What?
Through some of our 15 hertz clean.
I don't believe you. I don't believe 15 hertz clean in wall.
Wait, Giles, are we sending you one to check out and tell people about?
If I put it in the wall, you can never have it back.
I'll be honest. I think we rated it at like 18, 19, maybe even 20. And this one reviewer corner loaded it, had to retake the measures over and over and over, and literally he was getting 15 hertz clean. And I said, that blows anything that we could ever imagine out of the water.
Yeah, no, but in all seriousness, I'm happy to create a piece of content and measure it and see how it stacks up against other subs that have been in the Giles McCoy basement home theater.
Sure.
People love to see that kind of stuff, and I've got enough measurements in my room for different brands that it's really easy to see how it stacks up, right? And it's all apples to apples. So happy to do that anytime. But the whole concept of in-wall subs is one that I really, really love, particularly when they can be done well, because it just lets you build this nice, clean room. And I still suffer from what I call subwoofer clutter. You got all these big boxes laying around the room, and that happens a lot in kind of retrofit situations where you don't build out 24 inches behind your wall so you can shove all this stuff back there. So if you can put that in a 2x4 construction, I mean, that's amazing. Even if it just sticks out 2 inches to match the reference cinemas that'll be mounted above it, which would be really cool, by the way.
It would be very cool.
That would be really cool.
Right. So that subwoofer, right, is in wall, but we could also make that as an on wall version, which would only be about 4 inches on the wall.
Yeah, so this is
it would be about 4 inches on the wall.
That's ridiculous. Which model is that? Is that here?
Under Inwall subwoofers, it's the larger one. It's the IW10RS Pro model.
All right, so let's come on now. All right, okay, here we go. All right, so
it's the dual. It's the dual one.
Okay, this guy.
That one, yeah.
That's ridiculous. I love it.
But you know what? Everybody sees the driver. People think they know what we're doing. There's so much more into it. Like, he did so much work. It took so much time and perfected it and tested and changed things. I threw it in the back of my theater. So I have that in-wall in the back of my theater. My theater is 22 by 14.
Yep.
I've got, the reference cinemas. I've got the IC44s that we just showed you.
Yeah.
I have our high velocity 15. That's what I have up front. And then in the back, I threw that in because I wanted to test it. And we were just kind of turning off the big box subwoofers up in the front and just playing that. And we were kind of laughing. We kind of we were like giddy. Dude, this is real bass coming out of an in-wall. It's not just, some really low end subwoofer. I mean, it was shaking the room. We were feeling it. It was decompressing. It was playing with the room. It was amazing.
Yeah,
so I'm really proud of it.
I can see like underneath a screen, like 4 of these, like
That's exactly what we envisioned. Is you can run them right underneath the screen.
And you know what? That's going to work really well with.
Yeah, it was a client in China bought them. And he put him, don't do this one, put him behind his acoustically transparent screen. We got a call. It's moving my screen. Of course it's going to move the material. But yeah, it moves a lot of air. Yeah.
You know what that would work really well with too, for the connoisseur of high-end home theater. You can put 3 or 4 of those across the front, and then 3 or 4 of those in the back of the room, and then you use the Trenoff waveforming. Oh,
we actually spoke to John about that a little bit, because a lot of that's based on like Inwall subs, and that's where you can go around and put those in the wall, and then you can do the waveforming. Absolutely.
That's a solution. Do not see any. You put 4 corners. Get these around. You can have a complete discrete theater in a room where you couldn't do any in-floor hidden subs. Yeah, it's an awesome solution and sounds great.
Right. So we do a lot of unique subs. So some of our other biggest sellers are the in-cabinet subs that fire out of a tow kit. All customized. You tell us, the air load of, how much space you have in the cabinet, and we can reconfigure it. But surprisingly, we sell a lot of under the floor subs.
Interesting. So let me.
Very interesting. We sold a lot of those. So those actually go between the floor joists and fire up through like a register in the floor. So that's right there.
But what's really cool about these is they're based on our high velocity subs.
Right.
So which is our our top of the line. So we're basing it on that. We're going to build.
So here they are.
Yeah.
Here they are, and they're firing up into the first floor.
Man.
Right. And so they're going to be done in like a slit. What's the size generally?
It's like 1.5 or 2 inches wide by like 11 or 12 inches wide.
Then they can
high by wide.
Yeah. Then they can put whatever return or exchange that they're using in the house faux right over the hole.
That's it.
And you can basically.
So could these also be a above the ceiling subwoofer?
Yes.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yes, we've used that. We've done these in the ceiling. We've actually done them in the wall, and we've actually done them in stairwells, firing out in between the risers in the stairs.
That's see, yeah. It's like in my room, I suffer from concrete slab floors, right? But there's room just like in this picture. And I imagine a lot of people are in the same situation where they've got space up top. So you're no longer limited to figuring out floor space where you can put subs at. You can rip out some drywall, jam 4 or 6 of these in your ceiling, and I bet that would be quite a bit of energy.
More than enough. Plenty. Especially the 12-inch versions.
Man, that's cool. Okay. All right, we are running right on time here, but there are a couple of more things that I want to cover for everybody before we say adieu. I think I said that right.
I just want to keep
Any
going.
French speakers out there? I couldn't think of a hamburger reference for
I was going to
goodbye.
say, wait, better off dead. Right? Cat, pig, and she's French. The girl. There's something there. You remember that?
That's a great 80s reference.
Dude, right?
I love 80s references. They're awesome. But that's because I'm old, right? So
I'm not. Just you guys.
Yeah.
old, bald, and blind. Those are my three things. And that's why my wife loves me.
Absolutely.
Okay, so for all the people that are out there, they're like, man, this stuff sounds awesome. I really want it. What do they do? How do they get it?
Well, we have two avenues. We don't go out retail stores or anything like that. We have a whole network of dealers, which you can find on our website under dealers. And we have one national sales platform.
AV Science.
So avscience.com.
Yeah. Awesome. Right on. So you either find a dealer, and if they go to AV Science, what do they do? Just create an account if they don't have one, and then send a message and say, hey, I want
to call those guys.
Yeah, it'll usually be Mike or Craig or Lori, and they'll take care of them. We have an amazing relationship with the team at AV Science, and what happens is that first they find out what the client needs are, and then AV Science will work back and forth with us and making sure that the client specs in exactly what they were looking for, and then they just facilitate the order with AV Science.
Yeah, they can do that, or if they need help with the installs, we have that huge network of custom installs that get run on their site. Place an order with those guys, so pretty easy. We don't do any direct sales, but going through the dealer AV Science, they'll be interfacing with Rob or I, so we'll be giving our opinions or getting it going.
And and you can always call us, and we can recommend one of our dealers in your area as well.
That's also we're definitely it's hands up next level, mom and pop to the next level. Because when you call, I'm gonna answer. Rob's gonna answer.
That's right. You're actually getting owners. You're actually getting decision makers.
That's really cool. Yeah, Travis Ballstat, I think that's how you say it. He had the 2x10-inch Inwall Sub connected with a couple of dealers in his room, and they didn't believe that they were only hearing that, and he had to unplug his other stuff so people were like, "What?" So good stuff.
That's a good plug.
Yeah. So it's a really good plug. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get it out to you, Giles. I want you to hear it.
Yeah, let's absolutely. We'll figure it out. We'll get some stuff going, and we'll bring it to the masses. But I think with that, we are going to go ahead and close it off for the day. Lee Rob, thank you so much for coming on.
This has been awesome.
Glad to have you. When there's something new, let me know. We'll get you back on. You can tell the story so people can hear what's going on. And if they want to see this, and they can't find a dealer, you'll be at CEDIA with new announcements for your new 36-inch sub or whatever's coming. Yeah, I'm just making that up, right? So who knows?
Things in the works.
Lee smiles a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? Our goal is to go smaller but sound bigger. That's one of the things we want to do. Smaller footprint, big sound, great sound.
I love that. I love it. I love it. All right, folks. So everybody out there, thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, like, subscribe, ring the bell, share. And with that, we'll all see you in the next video.